waiting on for several months, and it's now here. It's called Bella Melt. You were on it for just 1 week when you lost 3 pounds. So in the first week, you lost 3 pounds on this, right?
That is correct.
Your GLP-1 is a natural hormone that's in every single one of our bodies. And your GLP-1 lets you know if you're full. It's a satiety hormone. So when your GLP is working properly, it does help suppress your appetite as well as reduce those cravings. It's a sugar-free fast melt caramel. So what it's going to do best is it's going to reduce your sugar cravings or any other cravings you have in your body. It's going to suppress that appetite. But where Melissa got the most benefit, I think, over the last week was the L-carnitine. The L-carnitine tells your mitochondria, this is where you make, we've talked about it before, this is where you produce energy in your cells. It actually tells those mitochondria to burn fat for fuel. We're noticing other people losing up to 7 pounds in the first week. 4 pounds has been about the average. As you lose weight and as you take these Bella Melts, it's going to help lower that blood sugar in your body as well.
All the information is there. MelissaHouseBG.com, MelissaHouseBG.com. Just now introducing for the first time Bella Melt with GLP-1 fast action.
Welcome to Live Up to Freedom. Thanks so much for joining me today on this. It's a Wednesday. Feels like a Monday, but hey, on this Wednesday, we're finally getting some sun over here, warmer weather, and I promise one of these days I'll fix the red coming from this side, making me look overly tanned. I don't put that much makeup on, but I'll fix them one of these days. We're live on worldviewtube.com, worldviewtube, a Rumble and X account, WorldViewTube app, which is free for you to grab on your App Store. We're also live on X America News on X, live on my platforms, which is Facebook, Rumble, YouTube, X, and Substack. I can't think of any other place to push my show, so that's all there is to it. If you're watching us, we are live. Join the conversation in the comments section. Share the feed. Click that thumbs up or heart, depending on the platform, and make sure to help us get on the algorithm. It is a Wednesday, and as every other Wednesday, I will be joined here in a minute by Barry Nussbaum. There's a lot to talk about, but before we bring him on, I want to give quick updates, and I want to talk about one thing, then bring Barry to make a comment about my thoughts on that thing. For those of you who kindly have... Oh, before I get there, sorry, this morning the feed died again. But since I wasn't here and Thomas wasn't here to help, the feed just died. So on that note, I did put up the campaign you all kindly suggested. And I actually turned it into something different with GiveSendGo. But the link is givesendgo.com/LUTF. You know me, LUTF is everything. I will send it out on a post and email format as well, but I received direct messages asking about the campaign. The campaign's up on GiveSendGo, so if you want to make a contribution, hopefully I get a new broadcasting laptop so my feed doesn't keep dying, then we'll get there. It's givesendgo.com/LUTF. You can become a recurring donor or just a one-time donation. Either way works, and we'll get going. Another note I want to make, I will ask for your prayers. I will be temporarily, at least, walking away from one client of mine to open up some time to breathe and not overexhaust myself and die during the month of May, focusing on the audiobook, the second book, and other projects. So give me your prayers as I am dropping a client. Don't like doing that, but it is what it is. Now, let's get to what I want to talk about. And I really want to be not nice, not kind, and I am. Gloves off. To everyone, you might come across this moment accidentally. This might turn into a clip. You see it. You might have been following me for 10 years. You cannot come out in any shape or form and say the Islamic regime is so evil and we shouldn't trust them and we shouldn't negotiate with them and we should wipe them. Blah, 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 blah. And then this morning, a screenshot or retweet what Trump said. Can we put up that Trump one screenshot of his thing? Yes. You all shared this with praises to Trump and how Trump knows how to get it done. And I'm like, I told you I'm not going to be nice about this, nor will I be kind about it. If you were one of the people who shared this screenshot or this information with anything except what? You are either naive, stupid, narcissist, or all of the above. You really think when Trump can't get the mullahs to agree to any terms, even a ceasefire, he got them to stop the execution of 8 women in Iran, and 3 of them were immediately released? Are you that stupid? Or do you suffer from, let me buy some sort of credit for Trump when I can? These are real lives you're messing with. These are real people who are dying every morning. 2 to 3 executions are taking place inside Iran, and I'm reporting the names with their pictures. So don't sit there and say, look, Trump just saved 8 people's lives. He didn't. If he's that narcissist to admit to what he knows for a fact it's a lie, you shouldn't be the tool to spread those lies. Welcome to Live Up to Freedom, Barry. What do you think of what I just said?
I don't even know where to start. I think about the 40 or 50 or 60,000.
83,000 to be exact.
How many?
83,000 confirmed killed between December 27th and February 28th.
Okay, so your number is way bigger than the American official number by double. Slaughtered in the streets indiscriminately. No worldwide condemnation. Trump said nothing other than you better stop. It reminded me specifically of the Biden days and the Kamala Harris days. What is your warning to Iran? And you remember the famous line, don't. And then Kamala Harris runs for president and they say, Kamala, can you, Mr. Vice President, can you please give us your advice to Iran and how there will be peace? How will you stop them from slaughtering their own people? Don't. This is the same thing, except it's the Republican version, courtesy of Donald J. Trump. I am astounded by the things that are considered done by him. And that reminds me of his praise of the Islamists in Pakistan, his good friends, the field marshal and the president of Pakistan, for helping extend the truce. When Iran flipped him off and said, we don't want a truce, we're not going to honor it, we're not at peace, and we're going to blow up every ship that comes through the Strait of Hormuz. And somehow, in the face of all that, Donald Trump thinks he saved 8 lives this morning. I'm dumbfounded. I don't know what to say. Obviously, if these young women's lives have been spared through whatever the mechanism, thanks to God. But the truth is, I don't think Trump had anything to do with it.
You see, people ask me, why do I love Barry Nussbaum so much? This would be exactly why. Yes, I can tell you as of right now, I can confirm they have not been released. The 3 that supposedly were going to be released, they have not been released. I've been in direct contact with one of their family members, the family member of one of them. They have not even heard anything of halting execution or postponing anything. They have not even received a call from her nor the prison. So that's how much I can say. Now, as you said, big if, because the last round, remember the guy he claimed that he has saved, and then we reported he was executed. Well, technically they killed him inside prison, but they still killed him. Now, let's tie this into what I titled today's show. I'm very proud of myself, by the way. I've come up with a word that apparently is a word, but nobody was using. And so what everybody's calling a ceasefire, I am calling it an Easefire because there's no full stop, there is no full attack either. But there's a huge concern from everybody, to my absolute surprise. The official post by President Trump has rattled everyone because yesterday around 4 p.m. or 4:06 when I was on the air, he put this out. And he said, first of all, of course, acknowledging that the government of Iran is fractured because we're so good. And by the way, I'm going to put this out there again for everybody. It would have been so nice. It would have been so much more accurate if the sentence went as, I'm paraphrasing, the government of Iran is extremely fractured because the Israel government had what it took to take most of them out. And then we were so powerful and strong to go drop a couple of bombs at their buildings. That would have been very accurate. But hey, who's counting? Nobody looks for credit here. Anyhow, and because the Prime Minister of Pakistan requested, because now Pakistan is our strongest ally in the Middle East, and we trust them very much because they're sitting on 170 plus nuclear bombs, there is a ceasefire extension until such time that the government of Iran can propose a unified proposal that is by everyone translated into an open-ended ceasefire. Barry, now I'm going to add, sorry, I forgot to mute my phone apparently. I will add, not only it's open-ended, but if that's the case, then isn't he technically giving them time to rebuild as a government? Where are you at with all of this that I just said?
There's a couple of comments. First of all, my people in Israel are telling me that Israel has been informed through official channels, back channels, that Trump's ceasefire expires on Sunday. It's a 5-day ceasefire. It has not been publicly announced. That's what the Israeli military has been told. That's number one. Number two, so it's not open-ended, at least not as far as Israel was told. Number
but
two,
how are American people to know that? These are actually
they don't know. They don't.
But that's the thing. When you're the president who tweets or truth post like a 9-year-old who just came back from a date, this is actually a very important information to put out when you're bragging about your wins.
I totally agree with you. And the social media, I would say diarrhea coming out of Truth Social, specifically the DJT account, is never ending. And it is this, good news, bad news, on the way up, on the way down. I don't even know what this means, The second thing that we have to take notice of this morning, Annie, there is a massive, and I mean massive, airlift going on for the last 3 days from the United States into the Middle East of massive cargo plane. The big Galaxies are flying nonstop round trip into Israel, Qatar, UAE, Dubai, and Saudi Arabia. There's a massive amount of material being moved, and the largest aircraft carrier in the world will be on station Friday. That's the Gerald Ford. So you're going to have 3 carrier battle groups, the Bush, the Ford, and the Lincoln on station. It's a tremendous amount of firepower. You don't move those guys and that stuff unless you are carrying a very big hammer, which is what I think Trump is doing. And the third thing I want to mention, in the face of Donald Trump's great news that he saved 8 girls, which is, as you've pointed out, may or may not have happened. We don't know. I'm watching on my phone right now on American Truth Project, our site, and we're playing a video right now of this massive intercontinental ballistic missile being paraded through Tehran in front of screaming crowds, throwing their adulation. They're probably all told to be there, of course, by the Basij and the IRGC, but that's an enormous 50-foot long missile that you might as well consider a big middle finger to the United States and Donald Trump. If you were serious as a country about negotiating a settlement, you wouldn't put your most massive intercontinental missile on display to say we are ready to launch this. They are moving missiles out of underground bunkers that they have dug out for the last several weeks. And Israeli intelligence says there might be, get this, as many as 50% of their missile stock still either unused or undamaged, ready to fire. This does not sound like a country ready to make a deal. It sounds like a country ready to go back to fighting. And they have made no peace remarks. They have countered every single tweet that Donald Trump has put out, to the point of calling Donald Trump a liar over and over and over again, and this morning. This doesn't feel like peace about to break out. It sounds like a war that starts on Sunday.
I will disagree with war starting on Sunday. I will agree to what I have said on my show and other shows of this is going to be the new norm of pattern. I said this a while ago. I said Trump's going to turn Iran into Gaza. Ceasefire, attack, ceasefire, negotiation, attack, ceasefire, attack, negotiation, attack. And I will say this with a straight face, mainly because he has no clue what he's doing. He doesn't. We moved way too much military equipment, and we did a huge muscle flex for the 3 weeks of attack we were involved with. We achieved this for the room we brought in. And the same thing is happening now with the massive movement we're seeing and hearing about. I think it's him again flexing more muscle. What he doesn't understand, or at least he refused to understand, is this is not Hamas. This is Hamas's grandpa. You don't get the same. You don't get to. I mean, it is what it is. I'm sorry. It is the grandpa. Grandpa doesn't bend as fast as the grandson. And these people have hostages. They're very hostages that you supposedly saved 8 of them. They got 90 million left. So this is going to be the pattern. But I want to take this continue this into Inside America, but we got to go take our first ad break. Guys, don't go anywhere. And I am seeing your comments coming in. I will scan through them during the ad break. And then if I see any questions you have for me or Barry, I'll bring them up on the feed. We'll be right back after this ad break.
Life is too short to spend a single moment spinning in laundry worries. Take a load off your mind with the all-new Norwex Powerzyme laundry detergent. This natural detergent harnesses the power of enzymes and plant-based surfactants to leave fabrics fresh and clean without fillers, brighteners, synthetic fragrances, bleach, or harsh chemicals. So go ahead, have your cake and eat it too. More than ever, stressful stains have met their match. Powerzyme's fast-acting enzymes break down organic substances while natural surfactants loosen locked-in dirt and oil, removing residue, stains, and odors with ease. With 91% bio-based ingredients, this dermatologist-tested hypoallergenic formula is suitable for sensitive skin types and delivers a safe and effective clean that won't harm you or the planet's waterways. Less time spent worrying about laundry means you can focus on what truly matters. Norwex Powerzyme Laundry Detergent. Discover the power of nature and load up on confidence.
Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thanks so much for staying with me until now. Guys, if you have been waiting for a great opportunity to head over to cyruswellness.com and pick up your Norwex products, today is a great day. So Norwex is running Mother's Day sales. 10% off certain products, 20% certain. You can get up to 40%. Depending on what you buy and which category of product you pick up. It started today. It's going to keep going until that was a terrible read, but you get what I'm saying. And most of the products that are on sale are great gifts for mothers. You know, including I know some in America, some husbands buy for their wives on behalf of their kids. So head over to cyruswellness.com. That's cyruswellness.com, and take advantage of this Mother's Day special offers going on by Norwex. I will be buying some stuff myself because I need some of the products now that are on sales. Cyruswellness.com. And remember, I'm a consultant, official consultant, so percentage of your purchase will be commissioned back to me, which is one of the ways you support me financially. Cyruswellness.com. Let's dive right back into it with Barry. And here's what I want, where I want to go. Well, a lot of time, me and you, Barry, we generally have a little bit of a disagreement on. You are way more positive on Trump and how he processes things. I'm not. I have come to flat out point of he has no idea what he's doing. He's just winging it every morning to see where it goes. He put it on Truth Social to get feedback from people because he doesn't trust his administration. He prefers to hear feedback from people, or even get a feedback from the other end, Iran. I sometimes feel like he puts things out to see how Iran reacts so he can get a better sense of what he's dealing with. All that being said, with this ceasefire, open-ended, not open-ended, now he has said that there's a good chance Friday they're going to sit down and do the second round of talks, since this morning talks were canceled. All that being said, we are, you know where I stand with Israel, you know where I stand with all the Jewish people across the world. But here's where I'm also very angry. We do this I will call it open-ended until Trump comes out and put an end to it. We have this open-ended Easefire. But then immediately after that, Washington announces that tomorrow, Thursday, they're going to sit down and mediate another talk between Lebanon, which technically is Hezbollah, Lebanon and Israel, to expand the 10-day ceasefire there. Are you kidding me? Am I right to think that U.S. government is looking exactly like the U.S. government of Biden and Obama?
Wow. I don't know where to start. You're right. Hezbollah does whatever they want. They are a client army of the IRGC. The leadership in Lebanon has no control over them. They've publicly, they meaning the Lebanese government, which is by constitution, the president must be a Christian. He has no control over the country. He barely controls the army. The army is scared to death of the IRGC. And so Israel is handling it on their own. There is a ceasefire. And this morning, Israel blew up 2 more Hezbollah patrols that approached Israel positions. So is it a real ceasefire? No, it's cooled down a bit. I want to throw a monkey wrench into our show here today. I just, during the ad break, read a report that just came out from CBS News, quoting a Pentagon source, that the Pentagon is now saying the Iranian Air Force has half their planes operational and left, and 2/3 of their fast attack boats are available to attack shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. So those multitudes of comments by our president saying the Iranian Navy is at the bottom of the Persian Gulf is BS. And the idea that we have 100% destroyed their Air Force is lunacy, according to CBS News, quoting the Pentagon. Have we devastated them? Yes. Have we blown up a lot of stuff? Absolutely, yes. Apparently, what they have left is more than enough, at least to posture that they can't wait to attack the United States and Israel and the Gulf states starting again. So, not to throw a monkey wrench into this discussion, but if this is true, that's why Iran is not posturing for peace. They're parading a ballistic missile down the main street of Tehran in front of 100,000 screaming maniacs. And they are flipping off Donald Trump, saying, we're not going to any peace talks. You can send anybody you want to Islamabad, Pakistan, to negotiate. We're not even showing up. Where does that put everybody?
Well, that puts us exactly where it put us after the 12 days last year. And when originally the first 2 weeks ceasefire talk started, again, my tone was the same as today of, are we gonna keep reading the same chapter of this, not even the whole book, just like the same chapter of the same book and expect a different ending at the very end of that chapter? Clearly we do, because that's what America does, right? And again, I'll go back to, we should have stayed out of it. We should have still stay out of it. Israel knows how to handle this. But the problem is we constantly put handcuffs on Israel, constantly putting handcuffs. This 2 weeks, do you really think this 2 weeks now expanded to whenever, this 2 weeks didn't play a role for them to get back on their feet? It did. Because Iran isn't just Iran. When it comes to the regime and the IRGC, they're everywhere. We watched as the hostilities from Iraq started coming in. We watched when the Turkish Shia militia started coming into Tehran, joining, right? But we don't want to differentiate. We don't want to say that, okay, if we got to get in there, stop, cool it down. That's what we've done with Israel. And I'm going to expand this from Iran, by the way, just in case if anybody thinks this is my Iranian blood talking. No. Israel was this close to finishing Hamas, not today, not yesterday, in 2021. Me and Barry got on a Facebook Live, both of us screaming. We literally said, Bibi, why do you even answer Biden's phone call? Remember that feed, Barry? We were so pissed. And again, with Hezbollah, with Hamas, with Houthis, how many times Israel had the Houthis at the very last leg and we rescued the Houthis? And everybody wanted to say it's different with Trump. Is it? Barry, is it different with Trump?
You know, the optics are different, but the restraint and the noose that is a leash on the IDF is the same. When we were on several years ago, the reason Israel had to stop was Biden illegally was withholding weapons shipments to Israel that Israel had bought and paid for, and he wouldn't allow the planes to load the weapons that Israel owned. Israel was between a rock and a hard place. There was nothing they could do. And so they had to stop. Trump is different, at least optically, Annie, in the sense that he praises Israel. He has Raisin Cain, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, coming out and saying Israel's the best military partner we've ever had in the history of warfare. But the gloves are restrained. Israel is biting the leash to say, let us go finish this. If they don't, the idea that what Trump is putting out is just garbage, that there's a new regime, it's the same as a regime change. No, it's not. It's the same Islamo Nazis in the same uniforms with the same ranks on their shoulders, just a different name. And they believe the same thing. In fact, if anything, they're more radical than the people that were there before. They will fight to the death. And if we don't facilitate that, and we make a deal, they will slaughter hundreds of thousands of Iranians, and the world will do nothing. The UN will do nothing. The United States will do nothing. And there will never be an uprising again in our lifetime. Because
No, I disagree with that.
Okay, I hope you're right. I'm very saddened by it. All the people that have died will have died for nothing if we leave this regime in place.
That I will agree with. And I do agree with all the outcomes you said, but there will be an immediate uprising. Reason. First of all, Iranian people, I'm reporting, as you know, Barry, every day I'm reporting voices from inside Iran, and I get them from inside Iran. They have officially come to acknowledge that Trump doesn't care for Iranian people, nor is he there for Iran or Iranian people. That has given them the motivation they needed to not wait for Trump to save them. They are regrouping as we speak. They are announcing already that if your ceasefire is in place, confirm, we shall take on the streets. That's how ready they are. And this time they will all die. Their last earthly hope died with Trump and his actions. This time, when they come out, they're going to come out to finish it or die. It's either they all die or they take their country back. That's the outcome of what has happened in the last 8 weeks, 9 weeks by Trump. Now, mind you, we still have...
So tell me, I'm so sorry to interrupt. How do you fight the Besiege and the IRGC, who have automatic weapons, grenade launchers, armored personnel carriers, tanks with 2x4s and rocks?
In last 8 weeks, Iranian people weren't actually hiding in their buildings, holding their breath for Trump to freedom. They've been active, and I was finishing my sentence with that. They have given up on Trump altogether. However, they're still in very open communication with IDF. There are now publicly Iranians who are putting addresses and locations on comment section of Mossad on X, the Farsi channel of IDF on X. They are openly now directly cooperating with Mossad and IDF. That's how they're going to do it. Now, the question comes...
Do they have the weapons? That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, they do. They do. At the very beginning of uprising, when people kept saying we should arm them, I said, don't worry about arming them. When the time comes, they have the weapons to get on the streets. The problem was, guess what we did? On February 28th, we interrupted their revolution, stole their momentum, gave them a false hope. Now, the bad news is they need to regain that momentum. They had it. By February 28th, they had it. A couple of cities were already taken by Iranians, by people. But we hijacked that because that's what we do. And I called it. Before it turned into a revolution, I said there are only 3 outcomes. And my number 1 was we stay out of it and let people of Iran finish it. Because I know they have what it takes to finish it. But we killed the momentum, so they need to come back. And that's the thing. They don't want to wait for Trump's open-ended ceasefire. Today, they're saying, we're coming on the streets. Don't bomb us because you're not going to finish this. They don't want to lose more momentum. They don't want to agree with Trump giving IRGC time to regroup. People of Iran know better than anybody else how weak the regime is today. They know how faster they can finish this. So
I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I truly do.
And even if they
Israel
don't
is
finish
furious
it
about this. Israel is furious.
Well, let me
that
ask
we're
you
allowed
a
to finish it.
question about this coming from Lori on Substack. Why is Israel under so much control of Trump? I thought they were going to finish this. Seems Iran and Lebanon will be like Gaza, as we said. Why is Bibi listening to Trump? That's my question. Same question we asked a few years ago.
I think it all comes down to arms. And that's why Israel internally is having this big debate out in the open now that Israel, this is Israel speaking, we must be independent as much as possible. So we're not under the control and the whim of the American president. Obama and Biden were horrible for Israel. Trump is, I hate to use the word, but it's almost like schizophrenic. On Tuesday, he's saying they're our best friends. We are going to finish this to the end, shoulder to shoulder with the IDF. And then on Thursday, you better not attack Hezbollah. You better stand down against Hamas.
They've been forbidden from attacking.
Exactly. And that blew up the press in Israel. And all the mothers who lost sons in Lebanon were saying, why are we there if we're not allowed to clean out Hezbollah at least up to the Litani River border, which was the stated goal? By the way, the IDF has not left Lebanon, and they're not stopping the fighting because Hezbollah keeps attacking them. Hezbollah blew up a UN outpost the other day and killed some French troops. Nobody cared because it wasn't Israel that did it.
Well, let me ask you this.
Hezbollah.
Do you think Mossad has left Tehran?
Oh, God, no.
That's
Oh, God,
my
no.
point
No,
exactly.
no. They're everywhere. They're everywhere
And
in Iran.
Americans don't want to face it, and I'm sorry, it does. It hurts to have to face this, but the only player that can not just save Iran and Iranians, but the only player who understands and has what it takes to save the Middle East is Israel. Hate on him as much as you want. Big up our president as much as you want. But they are the only nation, the only military, and the only government, corrupt or not, they have what it takes, especially the knowledge and understanding, to finish this. So the sooner we let them, the sooner this is done and over for everybody.
Okay, I've got two monkey wrenches to throw into the discussion.
Hold on to your monkey wrenches because we got to go take our next ad break. Let's go take our next ad break. When we come back, there are monkey wrenches coming your way, guys. Don't go anywhere.
Okay.
Well, hello everybody. It's Annie Cyrus. Welcome to my art studio where all the magic happens. This is the station for painting, and that is the station for all the resin art I do. If you want to check out my art, all you gotta do is go to lutfstudio.com. Finish this painting, but I'm sure, or at least I hope, I'll see you at lutfstudio.com. To Freedom, thank you so much for staying with me until now. lutfstudio.com, promo code MISSION gets you 10% off. And after a small percentage to Etsy, the rest of the proceeding comes back to me. So if you want to support me again financially, that's where you can pick up my handmade art. All products used to make them are made in USA, and I'm in USA. So you can rest assured that these are American-made products. And just so you know, as we walk into the first monkey wrench thrown at us by Barry Nussbaum, this discussion has left my pen with nothing but the tube of it. See, this is how I control my voice. I dissected and took this pen apart. So go ahead and throw the first monkey wrench at me, Barry.
All right, monkey wrench number one is the political ramifications of a continuation of an American offensive in Iran. And what I mean by that is Democrats are bringing this up every 5 minutes, both in their home states, in the media, and in the House and Senate, vis-a-vis this is an illegal war. We have to stop Trump. We have to invoke the War Powers Act, none of which is true, but it makes a lot of noise. And the polling is starting to shift such that there is concern in the GOP strategy rooms that the midterms may not turn out glorious for the GOP. And if Trump loses the House, the Senate, or both, what will happen is the last 2 years of his term are going to be a disaster, starting with his impeachment the first month. They'll never get it passed through the Senate, but it'll be a big distraction. Trump doesn't want that to happen. He doesn't want to lose the House of Representatives, especially. Number two, I think there's still, and I know this may sound crazy to you, I still think Trump thinks he deserves the Nobel Prize for peace. And if he was able to have a deal signed, even a crap deal, he could swing it under the noses of the Swedish board and say, see, my 9th war is now a peaceful situation. I'm so great. Give me the Peace Prize. It's narcissism on steroids. It shouldn't be the way foreign policy is managed. I fear for the Middle East, specifically the situation in Iran, the situation in Gaza and the situation in South Lebanon as being fostered by someone who has ulterior motives that do not reflect what should be the foreign policy of the United States, unrestricted by somebody's individual, what I would say, narcissistic belief that he ought to get a prize that will add to his legacy. I hate to say it, but I think those two monkey wrenches need to be considered.
I'm very glad you threw him in, and I don't even know why you hate to say it. Listen, American Truth Project. Truth is the center of your project. So when it's the truth, it shall be said, regardless of how it makes us feel. By the way, guys, American Truth Project is a 501c3. So if you're looking to make a donation as you get your tax returns, split your budget of donation, send half of it to American Truth Project through findbarry.com. It's tax deductible. And then send the other half to worldviewfoundation.com. Support two very, very important organizations out there that are definitely part of minority now. So findbarry.com is where you can donate to Barry's organization, American Truth Project. And worldviewfoundation.com is where you can send a tax-deductible donation to Worldview, which is pretty much giving me a platform here to sit here and tell you the things you don't want to hear. And then I bring reinforcement, then Barry tells you the things you don't want to hear. Go team.
All true. All true.
All true. But here's the thing. Based on the monkey wrenches you just said, I don't think, regardless of what tomorrow brings, I don't think Trump can save this midterm, Barry. Midterm's gone. It doesn't matter how much me and you we can understand and analyze and dissect, but majority of Americans don't sit there and look at it from some Trump point of view. A lot of Americans are confused, they're frustrated, they don't see results. People of Iran are dying, war is ongoing, there's nothing achieved, economy is terrible here. And then on top of that, the actions by his supporters is getting out of control. They're looking like a bunch of maniacs at this point. Like, it's not about America first anymore, because if it was about America first, they would agree with me and you. But it's about Trump, the one and only. So you put all of that together, I strongly believe midterm's gone.
I hope you're wrong. There's still a lot of time, but not an excessive amount of time. Look, if the gloves came off and it's Saturday or Sunday and Trump goes, these guys aren't coming, they're not negotiating. When Trump said that Iran had promised to keep the Strait of Hormuz open forever, Iran came out with a statement, he's lying, we never said that. Then Trump said there will not be any duties on ships. It's an open waterway per international convention. Iran said it's the Persian Gulf, it's ours, and the Strait of Hormuz is owned by us, and we will charge fees that whatever we decide. Called him a liar. When Trump said we have been given permission to get the uranium that's been enhanced back, it'll be taken out of the country. Iran announced immediately, you're a liar. We will never give up. It's our sacred right. When Trump said there will be no more uranium enhancement within the country of Iran, Iran came out and said, BS on that. We consider that our sacred right, and we will never give it up. When Trump said the ballistic missile program will be shut down, they said no. When Trump said they will no longer be supporting terror groups, of which there are probably a dozen around the world that are killing people, including Americans on a regular basis, they said, no, those are our alliances and we will never abandon them. Every single thing Trump has said would be done or has been agreed to by Iran has been contradicted. I don't mean through back channels. I mean on X. They have their own X feed, and every time Trump comes out with something, they say, BS, you're lying. So I don't even know what common ground exists, because if you remember just yesterday, the vice president was boarding a plane along with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner to go to Islamabad to make a peace deal. And Trump said, we're meeting the Iranians in Islamabad under the purview of the great Field Marshal of Pakistan, my friend, who's a very brave man. And then Iran goes, we're not going. And it's a much shorter flight. So we are so far apart right now. If Trump would just get off the dime and realize that every single thing he has told the American people that Iran has agreed to is bullshit. Can I say that?
Pardon
Oops,
his French.
too late, I already did. It's bullshit. He's making it up, or it's wishful thinking. I don't know what it is, because I'm not in the White House and I'm not in his brain. But when the other side
Aren't you glad though? Like, can you imagine? I do not want to be in that guy's brain. I do not.
If everything I just listed and there's more, Iran says no, Trump says yes. What's the common ground? I mean, where do they start? Other than Iran wants reparations for the United States and Israel blowing up their country. And they want $1 trillion. $1 trillion. If Trump was to do anything like that, Republicans would lose every election across the country for the next 10 years. Honest to God.
Well, of course, and that's my concern. There's one more thing that is I've been touching on my show repeatedly, that is connecting all of this, or at least for me, to my understanding, it's going to connect all of that into why I say midterm is lost. But before we dive into that aspect, just to refresh everybody's mind and clean up the air a little bit, we're going to head over to our last ad break here from Brennan House. Be right back in a minute.
But with Brandon, it's always cutting edge stuff happening in the world, and it's not just from the political angle, because you can get that on other platforms, but it's always from the biblical angle. So you're dealing with a guy that loves Jesus, you're dealing with a guy that's very intelligent, you're dealing with a guy that is cutting edge conservatism, and you're dealing with a guy that wants to be biblical all at the same time. And so for that reason alone, I hope many, many people will not just lift up his ministry in prayer, but will also financially get behind it, because he, from the angle I'm trying to describe, he really is the only game in town. And we desperately need it in these last days. Can I get an amen to that?
Amen. Yes, I agree. I mean, that is if we just talk about the real game, not the 21D chess game that apparently nobody knows what it is, but everybody's using it to excuse Trump's psychotic behavior. Yes, I said it. It's his being psychotic, and that's where I want to go with it next, Barry. See, the war and all of that, but then you top that with the psychotic behavior of Trump in two areas. One, I don't agree with it. Like me and you, we disagree. Like sometimes we're chatting. I'm like, you don't get me. And you're like, what am I not getting? So nobody agrees 100%. But regardless of that, his behavior towards Republicans who have disagreed with him has created this, again, what I would call a very nasty gap. Again, agree or not. For example, recently, the old ones are, we have the entire Marjorie Taylor Greene and Congressman Massey, which, by the way, I tend to agree with a lot of things Massey said. I'm sorry, I'm on his side when it comes to this disagreement. But even recently, he comes out to endorse Lindsey Graham with a bunch of praises. And then in the middle of it, he bashes Mark Lynch. I'm like, Mark is a good guy. I have talked to him. I have had him on my show. It's not that I'm endorsing him, but you shouldn't use these terminologies against him. But then I said to him, like, that's Trump. Like, if you disagree with him in any shape or form, or if you're Lindsey Graham is smart enough to constantly drop his ego, he just goes full on nasty, psychotic on you, which is creating more problem for voters. I think it's a lot of Americans follow the endorsement line, or they follow who Trump is bashing and calling a traitor. Am I like, I'm not, again, I'm not saying I endorse any of these people. I'm just saying he's creating a mess out of the party itself.
Yeah, there is a fracture, especially on the right, the far right. You know, you've got Massey, who's basically a libertarian, um, who Trump now wants to have primaried in Kentucky. He drove Marjorie Taylor Greene out. He's in the process of literally um, slandering um, former supporters, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, um, others on the right, that, you know, the War Room and so on, where he literally is making an enemies list on the left and the right. And he's losing his, shall we say, horsepower, while at the same time defending policies that are becoming less and less understandable to the American public, which is the subject of today's discussion, you know, Gaza, Lebanon, and Iran. You know, the Trump Board of Peace doesn't exist.
Oh, it does in his mind.
Well, yeah,
They're
but
at phase two. We already got to phase two of the.
it doesn't exist. Nobody wants to send troops to have Hamas disarmed. Hamas has said publicly, well, we'll give up some of the automatic weapons, but we're going to stay in the government and we're not leaving. That just killed the Gaza peace plan. And Israel would have finished Hamas a year ago, except for Trump. And Gaza would be on its way to being rebuilt with some sort of democratic, shall we say, non-Islamic fascist government, but Trump stopped it because he's the peacemaker. There's no peace there. The Israeli troops are getting blown up every day.
Wait,
And they're
but I know this is gonna sound ridiculously funny, but I'm serious. Maybe considering he has hired convicted jihadists as the seats of his religious liberty, maybe Ismail Royer has convinced Trump that peace exists the way Muslims think peace exists.
oh God, we're in trouble.
I know. I'm trying not to laugh because I'm not being funny. It's genuinely, what if they have sold him in this coexistent tri-faith, interfaith thing? What if he actually thinks he can create peace between Hamas and Israel and mullahs and the US? I hope not, but as you said it, it just hit me. I'm like, whoa, maybe that's what he has been sold. Because he doesn't know anything about any of these.
I can't believe he's that ignorant of Islam. He's surrounded by very smart people that he gives credit to all the time. People like Mark Levin who understand it.
Dan, you want to tell me why Ismail Royer has the key to the White House? Technically walking in every morning into the office of freedom, liberty, religious liberties?
Yeah, and then you had Tucker Carlson's son Buckley working for the vice president openly.
Buckley's the brother.
What's that?
Buckley's Tucker's brother.
That's Tucker's brother and also his son's name.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying. His son is named after the brother, and the son is the one that was the assistant press secretary of the vice president of the United States, who openly praises the other side. And when that story was broken, all of a sudden, Buckley Carlson, Tucker's son, resigned to start his own media consulting company that he knows nothing about. He was fired because it was a tremendous embarrassment to the administration.
If we want to talk about he's got a smart people around him, yes, he might, but it's not about a smart people around him. It's about how much the person who's given advices is listening to the smart people. Because we go back again, I will repeat this as much as I need to. The White House under Trump leadership hosted Jelani for a dinner.
I know.
How like Trump term 1, if I would call you and say, Barry, next term when he comes back, he's going to host Jelani as the president of Syria, complimenting what a good looking guy he is, you would ask me to immediately go see a doctor because I probably hit my head.
Yeah, or you needed to be drug tested. No, you're totally right. You're totally
like,
right.
who's your dealer? Put me in touch.
The good-looking guy in the suit who was chopping off heads a year ago, who had a $5 million bounty on his head for being the raging terrorist. 10?
10. It was up to 10 million before he became the president.
Yeah, well, nobody elected him. He seized power, and he's a thug.
We did.
He's a thug terrorist.
We elected him.
Well,
Trump.
we acknowledged his takeover is what happened, and he gets hosted at the White House and plays basketball with the staff like he's one of the bros. He's a terrorist. They're killing Christians right now. They're killing Alawite. Yeah, absolutely, and that's why Syria is still an avowed enemy of Israel. And since you brought it up, you know, your favorite dictator in Syria just said last week, all of the Golan is Syrian. We will never give it up. We will take it back from Israel. He's refused to acknowledge his statements of 6 months ago that said we'll make a deal and Israel can stay on the Golan where they've been since 1967. It's ancient territory from the Bible that was Jewish territory. And everything is changing. But Trump is like a ping pong ball. You know, you drop a ping pong ball from 10 feet, you're not quite sure where it's going to bounce. And every day it bounces somewhere else. And sometimes it bounces into Gaza or Lebanon or Syria or Iran or the border or China or Venezuela or Cuba or Greenland. I mean, think about it. These are the issues that have all been headlines in the last couple of months. And if you wake up tomorrow and you start reading the news feed, you don't know what you're going to get. It could be any one of those subjects or aliens, which is now what he's talking about. Oh, we're going to release the alien information. That ought to distract everybody.
Right? We attacked Iran to cover Epstein, and then we had Melania suddenly bring Epstein back up to cover up for the war. It failed in both, and now we're going to release the aliens to cover up for all of it. Barry, we're sadly out of time. We always run out of time quickly. I look forward to having you back on as things progress. But one last time, tell my audience where they go to get everything American Truth Project.
Find Barry.com. Find Barry.com takes you to American Truth Project, where you can see all of our 5,000 or 6,000 videos that I think are there now. And you can sign up for free to get on our mailing list, where we never charge for content. And twice a week, you'll get 2 or 3 or 4 videos that you can enjoy at your leisure. We hope you will do that. Come over, sign up. It's free. And it's great to be with you as usual. It's going to be an exciting next couple of days in the ceasefire, or Easefire, as you call it, which I think was brilliant on your part. I'm going to use that and give you credit in my show tomorrow.
I appreciate that. I'm sure I'll be in touch. Thank you, Barry. And to my audience who stayed with us until now, you're amazing. I saw all of your comments. Amazing. I'm sorry I didn't get to all of them. I've been reading them. I love all of your comments. And to those of you who confirmed, yes, the link is givesendgo.com/LUTF. That link is correct. I appreciate you guys. We're out of time. I will have a show tomorrow because it's a very special coverage. I will be joined tomorrow by Charles Jacobs and Walid Force. Amazing project coming up. Amazing congressional hearing they're putting together, and we cannot skip that. So I will have an extra show tomorrow, though I normally don't do a show Thursday. Until then, I want you to be safe. I want you to stay away from what makes no sense to you and try to pay attention and connect the dots yourself. Don't easily be discouraged, but don't get too excited either as we get through the next few days. Liveuptofreedom.com is where you can get a copy of the book, signed copy or paperback or Kindle. And liveuptofreedom.substack.com is where you can sign up, become a subscriber, or become a paid subscriber to my Substack. Until tomorrow, bye guys.
You're watching Worldview 2, built on the 35 years of Worldview books, documentaries, research, high-profile interviews, and the radio and television broadcasts of Brannon House.
Hello, I'm Brannon House. Is the government tracking you? Do they have access to all your data? Well, if you go to worldviewtalk.com, you'll find out about a cell phone company that, well, does not store your data. They don't do that. This is what they're known for. They don't store your data. You have privacy. You're not being tracked. That's why a lot of folks are turning to worldviewtalk.com. You'll find their prices are very competitive. All the details are there at worldviewtalk.com. Again, worldviewtalk.com. Oh, while you're there, not only do they have cell phones that aren't tracking you, you can find out about how to get a satellite phone. Should the whole system go down and you want to communicate with a family member or a loved one, you might want to have a satellite phone. Or how about their solar generators? They have great solar generators. Check them all out right now. Worldviewtalk.com, worldviewtalk.com.
2 years ago, whatever was 100% of my traffic to my website